you more closer to Java. So identifiers are the names of variables, methods, classes, packages, and interfaces. Unlike literals, they are not the things themselves, just way of referring to them. In the HelloWorld program, so HelloWorld, string, args, main, and println are the identifiers. We will see that practically, so don't worry. This is just the definition. So basically, there are six kinds of rule of identifiers. Basically, how we can write identifiers. So we will come this later, but let's first see that practically. So here we have created a class that is example. So by definition, what are identifiers or the class names, method names, predefined classes, interfaces, all these are the identifiers. So here example 1 is identifier, main method is identifier, string, this is the predefined class, is identifier, args is identifier, and println is identifier. So in this class, if someone asks how many identifiers we have, so we can say 5 identifiers. So here, if we come back to our definition, so identifier are the names of variables, methods, classes, packages, and interfaces. So here we have classes, methods, classes, variables, methods, all these are the identifiers. So I hope you can understand the definition of identifiers. Now let's start with the rules of identifiers. So first rule is, this is the 5 things by which we can actually write any identifier names. The name should be small a to z, capital A to z, 0 to 9 integer, dollar, and underscore. Only this is the scope of the identifiers. So let's see that as an example. So suppose I want to create a new class here. So we have seen A to Z, capital A to Z, 0 to 9, dollar, and underscore. So if I write something in small or capital, we can able to create a class. There is no error comes up. In small, no errors comes up. No error comes up here as well. Alphabet and then integer. Then this dot underscore, no error comes up. And similarly dollar, no errors comes up. So here we can define, but suppose if we say star star, so type name is not valid. The type name star is not a valid identifier. That means only this type we can use to make an identifier. So this is rule number 1. Rule number 2 is identifier should not have start with digit. Means we cannot start any class name or anything which is identifier with a digit. For example, here if I start with 1, 2, 3, hello, so this is not a valid name. It says 1, 2, 3 is not a valid identifier. Whereas we can say hello 1, 2, 3. So this is the valid identifier. So by definition of this rule, identifier should not start with digit. 1, 2, 3 hello is invalid, whereas hello 1, 2, 3 is valid. So I hope you can understand first two rules. Now third rule is Java identifier is case sensitive. What that mean? Here we have another class Java case sensitive. So here I have written int number in small, int number n is capital, and int number in caps. So here all three variables are valid, and because Java is case sensitive. Third is there is no length limit of for Java identifier. So for example, if we say like this, x, keep on writing x, then b, So we can actually write unlimited length and we can say 10, and here we can print that out as well. So if we print it out, so we can say 10, but this is not a good practice. Fifth one is we can't use reserved words as identifier. What does that mean? So here reserved means if is the reserved word, so we cannot say like this, because if is a reserved word, or we can say for is a reserved word, so we cannot use reserved word as identifier. The last one is all predefined class and interfaces names we can use as identifier. All predefined class and interface names we can use as identifiers. Means here I can say int string equal to 10, int runnable equal to 10. So here we can say there is no error comes up, and if we try to print it, string runnable. So here we are able to run it, but this is not a good practice. Okay, why it is not a good practice? Because it is not recommended, and it is actually reduced the readability of the code, because we will use string or runnable at many other places, so it actually reduce the readability of the code. So all this about the Java identifiers. So basically there are 6 rules. We can write identifiers using small a to z, capital A to z, 0 to 9, dollar and underscore. Identifier should not start with a digit. Means 1 to 3 hello is not a valid class or method. Third one is Java identifier is case sensitive. Fourth, there is no length limit for Java identifier. Fifth, we cannot use reserved words as identifiers like if or for. All predefined class and interface names we can use as identifiers. For predefined classes are like string or runnable, but it is not recommended as it reduces the readability of the code. I hope you can understand Java identifier. Please like our channel. We will upload more videos. Thank you.